This week on Scottys Garage, we're going to show you what's in the box. Hey everyone, before we get into today's episode, I just want to do a massive shout out to our 3 latest Mega Fan supporters on Patreon, and they are Matt Anton, Adam GT and David Gallimore. So as part of the Mega Fans package, we do a shout out on camera, and we also give you a free t-shirt, free sticker pack, plus you get multiple entries into the tool drawers. And as you saw last week, that paid off for David Gallimore because he got drawn out of the hat for the gear wrench spanners. So there are definite advantages to being a supporter on Patreon, and well, you help support Scottys Garage and allow us to make these videos. And next week will be very evident of how that support helps us, because we'll be in the US working on the Fairmont, going to Six Summer. So that's going to be pretty amazing, and I'm going to be pumping out the videos while I'm there. So it's going to be a good trip, and I hope you tune in for all that. A couple of weeks ago, I pointed out that we got this box from Vevor. I didn't tell you what was in it. The guys from Vevor said to me that, well, they asked me basically, you'd be interested in a spot welder. And I said, well, I definitely can use one, because I've got this wagon here that needs a rear quarter welded on it. So that's what's in this box. I know that kind of spoils the surprise, but we're going to unbox it right now and see what it's all about, and hopefully run it through its paces a little bit. Now, I'm not going to be welding the quarter on the wagon today, because that's going to take a few days of prep just to get the thing lined up, because once it's welded on, it's there forever. So you want to make sure it's there right. And, you know, I'm only a few days out from flying to the US. I don't have the time to align that panel right now, but we will, you know, join some metal together and make sure that this spot welder is going to do the job. So, open up the box, see what we got. Alrighty. So it doesn't seem to come in its own case. No case. Oh. Foam packaging. It's quite heavy. Right. Oh. What does it say on the box? It says the whole package is 13.5 kilos. Gives you an idea of what this weighs. So it is not light. All right, some foam packaging there. And there's the unit. As I said, doesn't have a separate case or anything like that. Oh, that is a beefy unit. Right, so we've got some instructions, got some tips, some sort of handle and bracketry. So we'll work out how all that goes together. But there is the unit by itself. Chunky. My arms are getting sore. Right. Give me a sec to have a look at the instructions.
A few moments later.
Right, well, we've had a chance to peruse our little manual there. It's actually quite a thick manual. It's in English, French and German, from what I can see. There is quite a large section on the science behind, you know, resistance spot welding, which is what we'll be doing. So, yeah, basically, you know, there'll be 2 tips here, and they give you 2 sets of tips there in the bag. And basically, you're passing current through the 2 tips and through your metal, and basically joining the metal together. This is how they build every car in the world, basically. Every car in the world is spot welded together. So it's been happening for quite a while. What the manual doesn't have, though, is how to actually operate the unit. I think it's a little bit of an oversight. It doesn't have like a diagram saying you need to push this down, you know, this is the trigger, blah, blah, blah. It doesn't have any of that, which I think is a little bit of an oversight. But I think I've got it worked out. Now, when you first open the unit out of the box, you'll see that the arms look like they're misaligned right here, but they are not, and I'll show you why in a sec. So we take 2 of our little tips here, lift the arms up. So these just screw in. I'm sure you can buy replacements from Vevor. I hope so. screw them in. And you can bring them together and you can see the two tips align perfectly. So you don't need to adjust the arms straight out of the box or anything like that. We will need to make an adjustment here to the handle pressure. Now the arms aren't designed to draw the metal together. I mean the metal, your workpiece, the two pieces of your workpiece should fit together perfectly. This isn't to squeeze it together. They should already be together. This is just to hold them together and then pass the current through the electrodes to create that spot weld. So yeah, we'll have to make an adjustment there on that handle because right now I can't even squeeze it down. I probably could, but I might break something and I don't want to break anything before I even use it. But I'll make an adjustment there. And then once you put material between those, it's going to make that harder to close anyway. So we'll have to definitely make some adjustments. We also have to add our handle to the top. So there's a handle that screws in to there and there. So it's basically a handle for you to hold. It's made out of wood. I hope that's just for, you know, protection, but yeah. I would hope there's not going to be any current trying to travel through the body of this thing. Anyway, let's get our handle on there and then we can go dig out some metal and give it a try. All right, I think you go on there. Loosen off that and the back side. Right. So I'm going to make our adjustment. Stay together about there. Now the spot welder uses a standard 10 amp plug, so it'll work with any wall socket. Just got a short extension lead here. We'll plug her in. And I have some scrap steel here, so I'll go with this and this to start off with. And we'll go off to the side and see where we're at, about there, hopefully. I'll just put a glove on just for protection, but hold that in place. Now, I believe this is the trigger here. I think you push it to the side. So I've got the handle down, push it to the side, see what happens. All right, so you want it about 3 seconds. All right, let's lift that up. Okay, so it hasn't really done a good job there at all. Okay, let's try that again. All right, get it in there. Okay. Now, could be that I need to make it a bit tighter. Right, I'll just make it a slight adjustment here. Okay, bring them together. All right, let's go for 3 seconds. So, how am I going to do this? 1 Mississippi. Yeah, we'll do that. All right. Okay, 3, 2, 1. 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi. Okay, we've definitely put some more heat into it that time. We'll separate. And they do seem to be stuck together now. Now, what they recommend is 3 seconds at a time and at least 7 seconds between welds. All right, that does seem to be held together. I could probably pull it apart. I mean, it is a small weld. I'll bring it around. All right, so you can see there, it's not a massive weld, but it is held together. If I do another couple of those, it's definitely no problems at all. So let's bring this one in. I'll do it again. All right. 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi. That'll do. All right. Now that looks pretty good. Now I'm going to do one in between. I'll give it a couple seconds before we do this. All right. 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi. I went a little bit longer just to bring it to the same sort of heat radiant or radiation out from the spot. I'll show you what I mean. All right. So there's the first one we did. You can see how far the heat spread. There's the second one, slightly larger. There's the third one when I went a little bit longer. But I'm pretty confident that is together. So I could probably prise it apart in a vise if I really, really wanted to, but I think if we were to, you know, put some weld-through primer on there, both sides, and then weld it, and I think we'd end up with a pretty good weld. They are pretty close together, you know, they're only probably 1.25 inches apart, but it's effective. Right, well, I think we've proved that it does work. It will stick metal together. There's no doubt about that. Now, the trick is, I'm going to have to... now, I could stick scraps of metal together all day with this, but I think we've just proved that it does the job. The tips look all right. If you go too hot on the time, you will wear out the tips quite rapidly, and no one wants to see that. You know, so make sure I think 3 to 4 seconds is probably going to be your sweet spot. Certainly with this thickness metal, and this is about as thick, I think, that you want to go. There's actually some heat in that. So, but yeah, I think this is about as thick as we want to go. So body panels is what you want, and I mean that's what it's for. Now, obviously the temptation is to just whip it straight over there and start stitching that rear quarter on, and I'd love to do that. However, I've got to bring the car out here. I've got to put the front guard on, both doors, line the body lines up, line the rear quarter line up. This is all going to take time, more time than I have, certainly before I go away. So, yeah, as much as I'd love to do it now, I'm not going to be able to do it now. And I want to only do this once. So, but yeah, that's not too bad. It's not bad. I've been looking at buying one of these anyway, and then when Vevor reached out to me and said, Scott, would you be interested in testing one? I said, for sure, you know, because, yeah, as I said, I've been thinking about getting one anyway. And we've used Vevor products before. You know, we've got the stud puller, which did an amazing job on the front guard of the car, and we've used it on bits and pieces of the roof and the rear quarters and that. It's done a lot of dent pulling, worked really well. We've also got the ultrasonic cleaner, which again, worked really well. And you can find the links to any of these in the description of the video. If you do happen to buy one, use the code. There will be a discount code. It helps me, helps the channel, and you know, you get a discount on the product as well. So there's definitely some advantages there. Vevor do actually have quite an extensive tool range, so jump on the website and check it out. There are lots there for the home enthusiast, and it's not just automotive, there's gardening, there's everything. They've got a lot of different tools available to them. I'd like to do more with it, to be honest, but at the moment I'm kind of like, what's the point? It's a spot welder. It's there to stick metal together, and we just proved it does. Yeah, I could stick a lot of metal together, and I don't think it's going to show you any different. It's critical that you give it enough heat. You know, as you saw with that first test, wasn't enough. You definitely got to give it, you know, a full like 3 Mississippis, and it will vary on the thickness of your metal. But with this metal, I think this is 1.6, so 1.6, so it takes it 3.2, which I think is the limit of its range anyway. So the unit itself, I'll check the price, but I think it's in the $250 range, thereabouts. So pretty affordable when you think about it, because to buy, you know, a spot welder from one of the other companies, you're probably looking closer to $1,000 and more. So for the hobbyist, I think that's very affordable. And as I said, it works for what we need it to do. After all, we're not a, you know, commercial body repair shop. A commercial shop would need a different grade of tool. But for the hobbyist at home working on their own car, I think this is a good compromise, and it will be something that we will be using on the lockdown wagon to repair that rear quarter, get that rear quarter on the car, and then we can hook back into this thing and yeah, get some paint on it, get it fixed up. It has been dragging on. Well, I haven't touched it in a while because I've been sidetracked with other things. But that's all right. Next week we're in the US. We're there for a couple of weeks. We're going to be doing lots of footage over there. It's going to be a lot of fun, and we're going to get some great content out of it. But once I come back, my focus is going to be, let's get 12s for 2K done. Let's get the lockdown wagon done. Let's get Dad's ute out to the track and race that. So there's lots coming up. We got lots of things to show you, and you're going to see it all on future episodes of Scotty's Garage.